it's thanks to him. He went basically above and beyond, all the way to talk to the principal and say, "You gotta give this boy. Sorry, you gotta give this boy a chance.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't talk to me
Because
because I'm a tiger in a cage."
so you were wild.
Yes, I had one hand on the apron, and one hand I had my fist closed, ready to have a go at the guy. This
Whoa.
is a 45 years old man. I'm a 15 years old kid.
Welcome back to the Chef JKP podcast. And on the show today, I have the absolute honor of welcoming a former colleague of mine with over 20 years experience in culinary and hospitality. Luigi Vespero. Luigi, welcome to the show.
Hi, James. How you doing?
Right, Chief. You know the show. First things first.
Yeah.
Childhood food memories. Tell me about them.
Well, where shall I start? For me, it was always the Sunday meals. Having growing up with my grandparents, the best memory was always waking up to the smell of my grandma cooking in the kitchen. And to this day, I think her eggplant parmigiana has to be the best I ever tried. I can't make it better.
And which part of Italy are you from?
I'm from Naples. So I'm from Naples. Beautiful sea, beautiful city on the sea, right? So lots of seafood also involved in in our diets growing up. In fact, if you ask me what would be your last supper, it has to be a spaghetti a vongole.
Wow.
So clam spaghetti.
But super classic.
Has to be that, and then I'll go in peace.
So what were the types of foods you were having as you were growing up?
So it was, obviously Naples being, in south, first of the southern city, really, of Italy. It's very, the truest sense of the Mediterranean diet, So you would have quite a bit of seafood, but you would have some very, traditional, simple dishes. As I say, the Parmigiana. You can have the best meatballs, or we have in Naples we have our very own meat ragu, right? Which is completely different from what you will know as a bolognese or something.
Tell me why it's different.
Well, first and foremost, the meat is not minced.
Okay.
And there is 7 different kinds of meat in this ragu.
No way.
Yeah.
Tell me. What sort of meats? So
not sure I can say.
So
sorry.
pork is okay.
Yeah,
so pork, beef.
So pork, you have pork and beef mainly.
Yeah.
But 7 different cuts. So you will have.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's mainly. So you would have in this. You would have in this pot of stewing tomato sauce. You would have a sausage. You will have a pork chop. You will have a pork belly. You will have a piece from like the beef
shoulder?
chuck.
Okay.
And so forth and so on.
So and. Is it diced? How do you mix it all together? So you would prepare everything beforehand?
You would prepare everything for, obviously, the sausages, you leave it whole. The pork chop, you leave it all. The pork belly, maybe you cut into nice strips,
right.
of pork belly. Whilst, obviously the beef, you would dice it. But it's quite chunky. So you're looking at, like each and every piece, it would be like a good 100 grams sort of cut, and you just... It stews in there, and and obviously you make it the day before,
right?
So that
tomatoes, I'm assuming.
Yeah, you do a lovely,
Red wine?
sweat. You
Red wine in
sweat
there?
off, yeah, you sweat off a bit of onions, lots of garlic, basil, sweat it off from the beginning, right? And then you sear the meat on the side, then put it in, then few tins of tomato sauce,
Wow.
and just turn it down so that it just like just simmering,
Okay.
and just let it
Oh,
be.
nice.
Just
Wow.
let it be.
That's
Let
a
all
f-
the flavors go in.
That's
And
the first time I've ever heard
yeah,
a
it's
dish
called
like that.
it's called the ragu napoletano.
Wow. Sounds
Napolitan
amazing.
ragu.
No,
Yeah,
it sounds
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. Lots of parmesan on top, So, and then what you would serve it with, obviously, is uh, see, we call it ziti spezzati, which is basically it's something in between. It's a smaller version of macaroni, right?
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So it's a longer one, and you crack it, so you break it,
Oh.
and you cook, obviously. Then you serve it with ragu, lots of parmesan, and then we fight on who gets what, who gets the sausage, who gets the beef, and
Wow. It sounds
But-
really amazing.
yeah,
man.
but it's again. It's a poor man dish if you think about it, right? It's whatever was available, back in the days from the yards or
Right.
courtyards, and then you just chuck in a pot and
That's so
let it
cool.
stew. Yeah,
Love that.
yeah.
So then, as a teenager,
Mm.
growing up, what were the types of foods you would have? Because Naples is well known also for some beautiful street food.
Yeah.
So what were the things that you really like to have?
So definitely, well, pizza is we invented it, right? We are the creators of pizza, really, before Chicago tried to take over. But,
True story.
true story,
Yes,
true fact. So pizza was always been, and I'm not sure if you have experienced that, but the one of the characteristic of eating pizza in Naples is, yes, you can eat it, in a beautiful restaurant, buying down the harbor, looking at the sea, and be very, and be very therapeutic.
Yes.
But you can also, like you said, you can walk the street in the market, and there will be someone selling pizza, but it's folded. So you
Right.
have your pizza, and we call it pizza a portafoglio,
Wow.
right? So basically, it's portafoglio is folded. So you get the pizza, you fold in half, and then fold in half again, so in quarter, right? And then you serve it in a piece of, like, grease-proof paper.
That's
sort
it?
of it. That's it, mate.
Nice.
That's it. And child talking about memories, that whilst you eat it, the little oil and fat, it has to drip on your forearm. If not, you haven't eaten, it's not, you haven't
Really?
eaten properly.
Wow.
It has to drip on your forearm while you eat.
Oh
Something
my
has
God.
to happen. Yeah, man. And
Amazing.
that's one of the characteristic pizza portafoglio. So if you go to Naples, or whoever is visiting Naples this summer, please go and try that. Another thing that very street food is, it's called cuopo, right? So basically, again, it's greaseproof paper, right? So folded into as a coupe, right? As
Okay.
a cup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there is two versions of it. One, it could be like frittura di paranza, which is mixed seafood, all the little fishes, that so mixed seafood fish in this, paper, right? Yeah, be like you would have fish and chips
Yes.
down in Bournemouth,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
Or,
Yes.
You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yeah.
In the paper, or in the newspaper back in the days,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So that will be one version of it. The second version would be, with arancini, or little, frittelle, we would call it, and in Naples we made it of algae.
Really?
Yeah. Algae frittelle.
Wow.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Lovely.
So
Eat the sea. You literally
amazing.
eat the sea.
How beautiful is that, though? That sounds amazing.
Yeah, so that's it. So pizza, these sorts of things. And we have one last very extremely street food in Naples, which is, it's pork, right? But it's the pork bladders,
Yes.
right?
Okay.
So it's all the intestine of the pork, and we call it operiumus, which again is served in this paper, right? Paper cup, and it's all been it's been boiled, and and it's served cold as a salad.
Oh wow. Okay.
So you go there and it's served by weight, so half a kilo, or 250 grams, whatever. So you eat that, lots of lemon, lots of like salt, pepper, and the coldest pepperoni you can ever find.
Yes. But it sounds like heaven. I mean, it sounds
Yeah,
beautiful, right?
yeah. By the sea.
Exactly,
Normally,
by the sea. Yeah.
normally you find those little, the three wheel,
The
you know,
trikes.
the tri you know the
Yes.
tricycle, the three-wheeler tricycle. You would find those down on the promenades, by the
Oh,
sea. Yeah.
right.
So it's very.
Wow.
And last thing is taralli.
What's taralli?
So taralli is it's basically a baked dough, right? In the shape of a donut, right? With it's mixed. It's mixed with um, what's it called? Pork suet, right?
Yes,
The pork
yes,
suet.
yes.
Almonds, lots of almonds inside, lots of pepper. Again, something savory. It's all things that you snack, by the sea and
Wow.
yeah.
So then, tell me how, from your education, so let's say after 16, 18 years old,
Mm.
did you always want to be in hospitality or in the kitchen, or did you have another path?
From day one, man. From day one, I wanted to be a chef. And in fact, I wanted to be a chef. Now, this is a nice story to tell, I think, because when I applied in Italy, you do the medium school, we call it, right? And then you go to secondary school, right? So primary and then secondary school. So you have to choose what you want to do, which educational path you want to follow. And obviously, I say I want to do hotel and restaurant, management, hospitality. That's what I
And
want to
how
do.
old were you when you made that decision?
14.
14.
Yeah.
So you knew
I want to be a chef.
that's it.
I want to cook. I want to
Wow.
be. It's something that and right? You know what I'm. It's not a passion. Oh, I love food. Or I love cooking. Or no, it's just something that it's embedded in you. You don't wake up to go to work. You wake up to live your life as a chef, right? And I think this is something that we all share, right? Is being in hospitality, be a chef, or even being in hospitality in general, right? It's not a job that you do to pay the bill at the end of the month. It's something that drives you, a force that comes inside you, and you just follow it, right? So the number to apply to this school back then, there was a closed number. So when the application was submitted or something, so the numbers were closed. So basically, I wasn't able to attend to go.
Oh,
right. And I was only 14. So I had to go for a plan B, which was IT, completely different.
IT.
Yeah, I always also been a bit of a, a nerd, and
Right.
I always liked, and obviously, I'm 1981, so that was the time where internet was coming, and the revolution,
Yes.
of the technology. So I was in that bubble also, right? So I had to go for a plan B, and it was my granddad who, but I wasn't happy, So he saw my face changed, my way of being changed,
Right.
because whatever the path that I wanted that I choose to follow was not available for me, right? So it's thanks to him. He went basically above and beyond, all the way to talk to the principal and say, you gotta give this boy a chance.
Yeah.
You gotta give this boy a chance. This is all he wants to do. And only because you guys, you have a closed number, you are taking, a dream of someone,
How amazing that he really pushed, and he could see, that you changed within that, because I think that's also the gift of grandparents. You know, we don't give them enough credit because they really understand
Yeah.
more than their own kids almost, you know. So I think that's an amazing thing. And where was this particular college? Still in Naples?
Yeah. So it's it's in Naples. It's within the Naples, the Naples hinterland, right?
Yes.
It was actually an hour train journey to go to school. So at the
Okay.
age of 15, I was up at 6 o'clock
Wow.
to go to the train station and do a pretty much 1 hour journey to go to school.
Wow. So your amazing granddad got you in, right? And then
now
15
it's
years
you,
old.
man. Now it's on you. You know what I mean? He
Yeah.
got me in, and he said,
Responsibility.
accountability, responsibility. It's it's on you. You want to do it, and actually I forgot to mention that when I say I want to be a chef, he was so against it. He was
really?
trying, to push me against it because he said, "Why? Anti-social hours. You are working and everybody's having fun. Why? Why would you want to be a chef?
Oh.
You know?" But I said, "No, that's all I want to do. That's all. That's who I am. That's who I feel I am." So he first tried to get me away from it. Then when he saw that, my life dream of becoming a chef was about to disappear, go away, he then made the
how
happen
amazing.
for me. But
How
yeah, it was
amazing.
1 hour away.
So tell me about then your first ever day in culinary school. How was it?
To be fair, it's school is a school, right? So I don't think, although education is very important, I think the skill that you acquire as a chef, you acquire by working.
Yeah.
Right. But is important. The education is super important, I think. And I actually regretted not going to uni.
Right.
Now I regret not going to uni, but I think it's super important. But I think what I enjoyed the most studying hospitality, it was all to do with the chemistry behind the food. So, for example, like back then, we study things like, the micronutrient and the science behind each and every ingredient, right? So I find it very fascinating back then. What does a beef contain? What does a chicken contain? All the micronutrients behind. This is something I find extremely interesting. And then I enjoyed learning about the economic of the business, right? So business in general. I really, really enjoyed throughout, the 5 years that I studied culinary and business management. I really, really enjoyed these two.
That's amazing that you did 5 years, Luigi. That's a serious education. Also, when it comes to business, when it comes to culinary, also the nerdy part of you came out because you really wanted to get into the details of that. So after your 5 years,
what did I do?
What did you do? Because most people would say, well, I'm already a chef, but actually the truth is your first job, you're an apprentice almost.
Yes. Yeah. So during the 5 years, I've also worked. So in Italy, it was, I'm not too sure that the generation now follow the same path, but my generation, during the summer holiday, you would go and do a work placement.
Okay, yep.
Right? So for the summer season, it was like 3 months. The school holidays in Italy are from June to end of August.
Right, okay, yeah.
So it's a good 3 months of work, right? So I was going to work, I was starting my apprenticeship pretty much, right? At the age of 15, that's when I walked in the first kitchen. And I do have a story for you, something quite funny, So basically, when I actually finished the school, the 5 years of studying, I've also been working for 5 years pretty much, not continuously, but I've already felt what is it being in the kitchen, being in an environment, and So, and I've already done a different aspect of the job. So I've already been a pot washer. I've already been in the cold larder. I've already been in the garnish, right?
Yes.
In the garnish section. I've already done big banquets, big wedding, preparation. So 3-4 days mise en place up to the wedding day, and then the
Boom.
big 1,000 covers wedding day.
Oh.
Yeah, it was 3-4 weddings at the same time, man.
Madness. So you already had considerable experience.
Yeah. So when I finished, I had to do the army service because it was still compulsory back then.
For how long?
1 year.
1 year. So 1 year army service or national service.
Yeah.
And then what did you do?
I jumped on a plane and I went to London.
Why London?
Because, see, James, I always like to have a plan in my life, and follow a path. So in Italy, you don't get the chance to actually learn English as much as you want to, right? In fact, my English back then was very academic, like, hi, my name is Luigi, sorts of things. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So why London? Because two reasons. First and foremost, English. I wanted to learn the language. Why? Because I want to travel the world, right? So the plan was UK for a couple of years, get the language going, learn English, world first language, right? So learn, and then from then, the plan was so UK, France, Switzerland, Spain, US. That was my, the big master plan.
Okay. So what happened? You arrived in London.
I arrived in London.
What was your first job there?
The first job was a chef de partie at, which is funny because not English. Walking in the streets of London with an A to Z and a pocket dictionary. You don't have a Google, mate, back then. Right?
No WhatsApp, no nothing, right?
Applying. By the way, I went to London without a job.
So you just went in?
One-way ticket to London. One-way ticket to London.
How old are you?
20.
Wow.
I jumped.
So you really had a plan. You had a lot of belief.
Yeah, my mom was pulling her head off. She was like, what's going on with you, son?
Wow.
I jumped on a plane and I went to London on a one-way ticket. Stayed in a hostel at the beginning and applying every single day. Wake up at 8 o'clock, going to the internet cafes to apply for jobs with my little pocket dictionary and the A to Z, which is the travel the travel guide back in the days in London for those who remember it. And I must have applied for around 30 jobs and done about 15 interviews without understanding a single word of the person interacting with me. But Italians, we talk by hands, right?
Sure.
So somehow, gesticulating or something.
How amazing, though. I mean, that's amazing, really. When I come to think about it, not easy.
No.
But you must have
the drive.
The drive in here.
Drive.
You must have just been persevering. So you got your first job. What was it?
It was chef de partie at, if I recall right, it was called the Conrad Chelsea.
Right.
It was in Chelsea. It was in an hotel.
Okay.
On the larder, basically, on the cold larder. That's where everybody starts, pretty much, right?
Of course.
Although I enjoyed it, but I found it very difficult.
Difficult because
I didn't understand, James. I did not understand English. So somebody would tell me, I don't know, can you go down in the storage and on the third shelf at the top there is, I don't know, this ground flour, there's a ground almond. I don't know what you said. So I would have to take time, go in the chiller where nobody would see me, get a pocket dictionary out and try to translate the word. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. and that's what I was doing. I was like going around and translate the word and trying to find, what's these guys asking me to do now, you know?
So, I mean, I'm just trying to think, Luigi, because when I first came to England, I was from Venezuela. I knew hardly any English, very much, and I went straight into sort of middle school at the age of 8, 10, whatever. And yeah, not easy. It took me a long time. Well, it took me 3 months to start to begin to understand after watching silly things like the weather reports.
Yeah.
Right. So how long did it take you to start to begin to
About
understand?
the same time.
Okay.
It took me about 3 months. And what I did, so I was renting movies that in Italy, my favorite movie that in Italy, you would see them dubbed.
Right.
So I was renting my favorite movies, like The Godfather
Yes, yeah.
or, things like that, and watching them in English with English subtitles.
Right.
So I was associating the sound
Got you.
with the grammar
Got
at
you.
the same time. So, so these words, that's what it means, and that's how you
Okay.
pronounce it. Yeah, and then at the age of 20, it's easier to learn.
Yeah, of course, but you found your way.
Yeah. It's all that's it, in life, you gotta find a way in.
Wow.
There is a door you want to open, it's locked, you gotta find a way in.
But you know what's really interesting, Luigi, is that I think that shows such perseverance from your perspective, and it shows so much belief that you have got this single laser focused drive to get to your goal. Because I hate to say it, but maybe 50% of people who would have been in your shoes would have given up.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
how long did you stay in that job for?
about 3-4 months. 3-4 months. It wasn't really for me. Although I love hotels now, right? Later on, I got to love hotels.
Right.
But back then, for me, it was more about restaurants and the hype and of a restaurant, the restaurant service. So I left that job and I did a couple of other jobs. I actually went to an Italian restaurant outside of London, in Surrey, in Guildford. I felt that for what I wanted to achieve, I needed to step out of London. It was just too much, and obviously there is also a lot of distraction for a 20 years old.
Yeah.
Right. So although I'm a sharp drive, focus, but there is also right.
Yeah.
So I felt that I need to step away from that, and focus on what I'm here for. Obviously, learn how to cook, and improve my English.
Sure.
Right. So I went away from London. I went into Guildford in an Italian restaurant, lovely fine dining Italian restaurant, where I was very lucky there as a chef de partie on the main course. I was very lucky because I found a chef there, which then became a very good friend and a mentor for me. He's Italian, but he has spent all of his life, majority of his life, rather than work for Italian restaurant, he working in casinos. So another different level of hospitality, right?
Casino.
Yeah. And he introduced me to, the French method of making a stock, comfy, So coming from an Italian background, Italian cuisine, pizza, pasta, sole and mandolino, right?
Wow.
So now this guy we're cooking Italian food, but with different techniques. So, the way you make actual chicken stock and, the proper way of cooking. I was like, this is interesting, right? So, and again, because he spent, I think, like me, he was 50 at the time, but like me, he moved in to UK at the age of 20. So he's in London for 30. This guy,
Wow.
It's seen it all, mate. It's seen it all. And,
but was it a successful business?
Yeah. No, very successful. It wasn't a little business. No, it was really, really high-end Italian restaurant. Then again, I spent about 6-7 months there, and you know, I wanted to something different, and I moved to Birmingham.
Birmingham. Very different.
Very different. So London, Guildford, Birmingham. I moved to Birmingham, and I found a job in an hotel, right? But again, the chef for me, I always follow the chef. So the chef that was there, Colin Layfield, I think his name was. Yeah, Chef Colin Layfield. He had worked for Raymond Blanc for years, right? So his style of cooking was a British guy from the Midlands as well, but his style of cooking was very French. So the story here, James, is that I started to love more and more and more and more French method and French cooking and French cuisine, to then eventually become a French trained chef.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
So that's now 2.5 years of being in the UK. I felt that my English is good enough now to be a world trotter. So what I did, I went back home. So I spent about a year in this hotel learning. I moved around all of the section, from again the larder to the garnish to the fish section to the mains. Little bit of pastry. I was never really a fan of it, but so I think again I felt that the English was good, and even my culinary knowledge was good enough for me to now be, as a chef de partie, moving from one kitchen to another.
Yes.
With a certain level of knowledge, right? So I went back home for a few months, took a break. I did a little bit of work whilst there, I can't
freelance.
Yeah.
Yes, just yeah.
Yeah, no, you need a hand. Like literally,
yeah.
hey, you need a hand. I'll come on the weekends and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
easy money.
Yeah. Pocket money. I was 20, I think I was 23, 24 at the time. So I took a break, and I ever start to apply for a job in France, because remember the plan was England,
right,
then France.
Right. No French.
No French. No French at all. Yeah, good point actually. No French, but English. I have applied for about 6. And by the way, at that point, my only goal was to work for Michelin.
Right. Okay.
Michelin-starred.
So that's when. So you started to understand who Michelin were, what they were about, the chefs.
Correct.
Right.
So I say now I need to step up. You know what I mean? I speak English. I can cook, but now I need to go a level up.
Okay.
Fine dining is not good enough for me anymore.
Okay.
I need to go a level up.
So then you applied.
I applied for 60 Michelin-star restaurants job.
Ooh.
60 application. I have
handwritten or online.
Online.
Yeah.
Internet was around.
Yeah.
A bit slower than what it is now, but it was then. So online. 60 application between and I choose only Paris and south of France. So the Côte d'Azur, Nice, Monaco.
Yes.
No, that's
Nice, Monaco.
Monte Carlo.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to do. 60, James. Did I get one chance? Nothing. So I started to get very demoralized.
Okay.
Of course, I was like, "What's going on here, man? 60? You gotta give." And I actually, as a chef, I said I want to apply as a commie, not chef de partie.
And still nothing.
Nothing. I want to come and peel potato. I want to come and pick leaves. Just get me in that kitchen, and then I'll show you what I can do.
After you were demoralized, what was the plan?
So whilst I was searching, still, on Michelin, I see this advert on Caterer Global. Gordon Ramsay is looking for chef de parties.
Boom.
I was in Naples, I was like, you know what? Yeah, I wanted to do France. No, I was like, yeah, okay, I wanted to do France. But this is Gordon Ramsay. I start to think maybe you can achieve what you want to achieve by following, a different road.
Right.
So I've applied for that job. And at the same time, I was like, okay, now I've been here for 6 months now in Naples. It was meant to be a couple of months. Now it's been 6 months. I actually need to work and find a job. So I applied for Gordon Ramsay. And at the same time, I have applied for, oh my God, the Claridge's Hotel.
Okay, yeah.
For the actual
So you did Claridge's Hotel.
I applied for the Claridge's Hotel, and I have applied for Gordon Ramsay.
Okay.
Listen to this. Listen to this, because this is funny. No, you're gonna love this, because you remember those kitchen and you remember the hotel, right? So I applied for the jobs. The following day, I received an invite to an interview and a trial at the Claridge's, right?
And you're still in Naples.
I'm in Naples. On the same day, in the afternoon, I received an invite for an interview from the group HR for Gordon Ramsay Holding.
So successful with both applications.
Yes. So it looks like, my destiny is back to UK. You know what I mean? And I took that. I embraced that, I will visit France. I will visit Spain,
right.
But I'm going back to UK.
Okay.
I'm in Naples. I jump on a plane. And they were like, can you come tomorrow? Not really. Not really. Can we do, give me a couple of days. Let me come. So I jump on a plane. I go to London, stay at a friend's house, and it's funny because what I did the interview with Gordon first, right? So with the HR. And the job that so Gordon is looking for chef de partie. He didn't say where he was. I then find out that he's at the Claridge's. So Gordon Ramsay at Claridge's. Fine. So I do the interview. The interview was successful. And they say, right, what I'll do, I'll send you in to do a trial. You will meet Mark Sargent and Steve Allen, right? You will go in this day. Okay. Where is it? It's at Claridge's. Okay. So I started to think now that the job that I apply for the Claridge's is the same job of Gordon.
Right.
I'm thinking this is the hotel looking, you know what I mean? Kind of two job adverts, but for the same role.
Yes.
So I turn up at Claridge's at the hotel to do the trial, right? So now I'm in there and they send me, to do the help these guys to do the room amenity. Then from the room amenity, we have a canapé function to do the little canapé. And I start to think like something is not right here. This Gordon Ramsay, a 3 Michelin-starred chef, is not doing room amenities.
Yeah.
He's not doing canapé for a function. Something here doesn't make sense.
So what did you do?
So I went and speak to the chef of the hotel at the time, that, by the way, they did offer me the job. And I say, but this is not why I applied. I'm here for Gordon Ramsay. This is, where am I? I say, Gordon Ramsay? You are in the wrong kitchen, my friend. Okay. Would you mind taking me to the kitchen? So from the hotel, they took me then upstairs at in the Claridge's kitchen, and it was Steve there. And I was like, I think I need to have an interview. I think I'm here for a trial. And I went to the wrong kitchen. And I explained to him the situation. He said, okay, fine. You're here now. I actually thought that you would have been a no-show. He said to me, I thought that you would, because I did from 9 o'clock until 2 p.m. in downstairs kitchen.
Oh my God.
So that was the afternoon. So I said, what's going on here? When I then realized, and I went upstairs, so now it's 2-3 o'clock, and I say, I'm here for the trial at 3 p.m. Stephen at the time looks at me like, I thought you were a no-show, but you're here now. Jump in. So a little bit of a mise en place, and then I did the evening service.
Which section did they put you on?
Straight on the garnish, my friend. That's where we met. Straight on there to peel those tiny little onions, the pearl onions, and all of that. I was first in the corner, and I was just, but for me, now I'm in a Michelin-starred kitchen.
Yeah.
Right? So I was in that corner, if you remember the little hand wash sink in the corner on the right-hand side of the pass.
I will never forget it.
I was peeling onions. I was prepping mushroom, but I was buzzing. My heart was like 1,000, like 100 beats per hours. I was in a Michelin-starred kitchen, so I'm one step away from my objective here, And I felt in that specific moment, whilst I was happy, but I also felt I am here to show these guys that they need to give me a job. So what am I doing in the corner? Right? Okay, what am I doing in the corner here if I need to get a job? So, you know what I start to do? I moved from there and I start to be on the pass. Steven was there. Mark Sargent were there. Who is this guy now? On the pass. And all I was doing, I was picking up the trays from after they've put the dish. I was picking up the tray, bringing it to the pot to wash, right? And from the pot to wash, was putting the little garnish tray to either on the sauce section or on the garnish section. So to the chefs that then I was giving the trays back, and then I was like, okay. And then I went around on the beef, on the meat section, on the sauce. I think Nick,
Probably.
It was either Nick or Scott.
Yeah.
On that section. And I start to take the tray off them. I'll take it to the pass. You stay. You keep on cook, mate. You keep on cook.
So you took initiative.
So I took the initiative of taking the tray for the meat and the sauce to the pass, coming up to the pass, show, backs. Chef, on your right. Chef, on your left. Chef, on the pass.
Do you know, Luigi, I just need to put that into context for listeners because for people who are not aware about how Michelin-starred kitchens work, obviously you have the chef, head chef or executive chef on the pass, and the grill chef or the meat chef is counting down the time continuously all the time.
Yeah.
And anybody who is applying for a job is, as you said, quite rightly, in the corner or extremely quiet.
Yes.
The fact is, you were the opposite. You were making sure you were being seen, you were being heard.
I was being cocky.
Yeah.
In a humble way, right? I want to be, because I want this job and you gotta give it to me, because I can't cook now, right? But I'm gonna prove you that I'm worth it in a way or in another.
And to be in the kitchen with Gordon Ramsay, Michelin-starred, Mark Sargent, Steve, I'm gonna get this job.
Yes.
So after the shift was done, what sort of time did they say you've got?
It was about 10 o'clock.
10 at night, still in service.
Yeah, because I think it was a Monday night, so it wasn't super.
And you've already been there for 13 hours.
I was there since 9 o'clock.
So who's
knackered? I was tired.
You must have been exhausted.
Yeah.
And there's no break, there's no food. Nobody says, "Do you want some water?" You've just got to push on.
Yeah.
So
Steve comes to me around 10 o'clock. He moves away from the pass, and he goes to me and says, "Look, I think we would like to offer you the job. Talk about the package and blah blah blah." For me, I didn't care about the money. I just want to be in this kitchen.
amazing.
And he goes like, "See you tomorrow." I was like, not really, because none of them knew that I flew from Naples to do the interview and to do the trial. So when I told him, he said, "What? You came from Naples to see us today?" I'm like, yeah. So allow me to go back home, actually pack a suitcase rather than a handbag.
Wow.
Get me set. Let me find a room, and then, I need to reorganize myself in London, and give me a week. I said, just give me a week, maximum 2, please, and I'm in. And he understood. He appreciated even more. Say, the drive
How amazing.
of this guy getting on a plane, come and do a trial at Gordon Ramsay at Claridge's, be successful, go home, organize himself, and comes back.
So Luigi, look, if I fast forward now, you worked Gordon Ramsay at Claridge's, you did all the sections, you really put yourself in the thick of a Michelin-starred kitchen. Afterwards, what was your next move after that?
Very good question. because what I wanted afterwards is say, okay, so now I can cook, right? Come on, guys, I can cook now. I've got my technique, and I've also started to develop a little bit of my style of cooking, because you're kind of ready for that, that junior sous
Sure.
positioning,
Yeah.
and that was my problem, or actually my challenge, is that now I can cook, but can I manage? So where is the best place in London now, at the time, where I can still be a high level, right? And my CV is still at the top of the top, and learn the management aspects of our day-to-day job, which is not just taking, fridge records, temperature, James, as you remember. And also, I wanted to be in a different environment for a moment, right? So I joined the Wolseley. I went to the Wolseley, which for me it's the best brasserie in the world. 50 chefs in the kitchen, about 80 floor staff, 90 floor staff, 1,000 covers per day between breakfast, lunch, afternoon tea, dinner, late bites, and everything.
Serious operation.
You know what I mean? So now I am like, I moved from the refinement and the finesse of
And the pressure.
Of Gordon Ramsay, working at Gordon, working at Michelin-starred level.
Yeah.
It's not Gordon, it's the star, it's the Michelin, working at that level, doing those hours, to be a very fast-paced, but allow me to say, very well organized and structured organization, where and I think Chris Corbin and Jeremy King, they really are true gentlemen of our industry, and I look up to them, and I actually try to even replicate and pass down certain knowledge that I learned from them. So when I arrived there, I was like a tiger in a cage coming from that pressure, right?
Yeah.
You couldn't speak to me, James. As a front of house professional, you can't talk to me.
Because
I'm a tiger in a cage.
So you were wild.
Yes, right? And I actually learned how to manage the front of house from the kitchen by talking to people in a different way, and also running the service in a different way, and run just completely different, right? So I go from a chef-led business to a front of house now led business, where the chef reports to the GM. You know what I'm trying to say, right?
Yes.
So, and it really opened my eyes. It really opened my eyes. It made me understand that you must not forget in a kitchen the human element. You can be a chef. You can cook a very high pressure, right? You can be at boiling point every single time, but the person in front of you, it's a person. And as such, you have to respect that person. And you have to educate and correct their mistake using the same respect, acknowledging that respect.
What I want to know is that, let's take the first week you were at the Wolseley.
Yeah.
Fresh out of a Michelin-starred kitchen. Who was the person that pointed out to you, Luigi,
calm down,
you need to relax?
Yeah.
Who was that guy?
He was actually the restaurant manager in charge, which, a week earlier, if he says a word,
Yeah.
So it was, I think his name was Sebastian, if I recall right, a gentleman called Sebastian. I was in charge. I was on the pass that day, and not even on the pass. I was I was on the sauce section as a junior sous, and try and be cocky and try and try and give him the big I am.
Yeah.
And the guy just, with the chef was there, so the head chef was there, and in front of the head chef, put me on the side and said, "This is not how we work here. This is a different environment," and he calmed me down. And from that moment,
What happened here then?
So first and foremost is the fact that he put me on the side. He talked to me on a one-on-one.
So he didn't do it in front of everybody?
No. In the middle of the service, he put me on the side and he said, "My friend, you don't talk like this. We use a different verbiage. We use a different, you don't talk like that." And I understood what happened. So this guy is still is bollocking me, right? He's correcting me,
yeah.
but he's respecting me at the same time. You understand now my whole philosophy of
being a chef and
from that moment on, my way changed. My life changed.
Yeah, your perspective also must have changed massively.
Completely from that moment on. So I spent about a couple of years there, but I missed the Michelin. I really missed the Michelin. I needed to cook at that level again because, again, the Wolseley, best brasserie in the world. But brasserie food is not Michelin-starred food. It's the details are different. So I went and joined the Galvin brothers. And that's where, as a chef and as a mentor on top of you, I think Chris and Jeff are the perfect mix between what I've experienced in working in Gordon's kitchen at the time and the Wolseley, because Chris, particularly Chris Galvin, he is a chef that cooks at that level, but manage people in a very different way,
But that's quite a journey, Luigi, because you also did quite some time with them to the point that you'd obviously been an accomplished chef, accomplished cook. So were they pivotal to you moving over to the Middle East?
No.
So what made you move here?
So what made me move here is my wife, actually. So we had our first child. We had our first baby, and we were living in London in a shoebox. We were outgrowing.
As you do.
Yeah. So, we knew that we would outgrow the place very fast with the arrival of our child, our first child, Georgiana. So we were start to thinking of moving out of London, and Zone 6 and, or even in the outskirts. And then I and I'm not a good commuter. Although, remember, 1 hour to commute to school? But I'm actually not a good commuter. Because of that, I say, I need to be 20 minutes from work, half an hour from work max. So I start to think, if I move further out and, as a chef and doing the hours, and if I need to commute an hour to London to then do my job, I might as well move out. And, and my wife was like, "What about Dubai?" And I was very skeptic at the time. I was very ignorant of what Dubai was at the time. So I said, "You know what? Let's go on holiday. Let's take a break. Let's visit Dubai. Let's go on holiday. Let's have a look." I had a friend in the industry already here. And she also had. So I said, "Let's go. Let's meet these guys. Let's have a feel of what it's like. Let's meet them as well, so that we can guide it." Didn't need to meet them, really. I fell in love at the airport.
Yeah.
I absolutely fell in love with Dubai at the airport.
Whoa.
Going on that Sheikh Zayed Road, in a taxi down to, we stayed at Hilton, JBR. Wow. Wow, driving, and you must understand, going from London, which is beautiful, but you come here and you see this
Yeah.
skyscraper. You are in this motorway, skyscraper each side. Wow, drive past the Burj Khalifa and then the Burj Al Arab down. It was just like, wow. It was hot though, because we came late August.
Oh, okay.
We came.
So it was super hot.
It was super hot, but I didn't care because in London it's super cold,
Yeah.
and I've been from Naples. I'm like, I know now it's hot, but eventually it's gonna get nice.
Yes.
And I'm like, this is it. I'm back by the sea.
Exactly.
Sun. I'm cooking, and it's a very growing country. The UAE is a very growing country. Why would you not want to be part of that growth?
So, Luigi, if we then...
So it was a personal choice.
So, personal choice. You then moved to the UAE. You've worked with some incredible brands. You've worked with some amazing people. You yourself, as a chef, have had numerous accolades to your name. I'm not going to name them all, but you've had a lot.
There's a few, yeah.
And the one thing that I'm particularly interested in is basically, you've been a chef for so long, but I want to understand what made you pivot from the kitchen to then become an F&B director.
Going to management.
Tell me about that.
I felt that I reached a ceiling, right? I felt that I reached the ceiling because, like you said, I worked in a fantastic restaurants and hotels, beautiful brands. But I felt that, you can move from one box to the other, but all you do is to carry your knowledge from one box to the other. Yes, you get to learn maybe a few newer, policies of a different way of that organization runs the business, but you don't get to learn and see the business. So I felt like there was a ceiling here.
Okay.
So I needed a change, James. I needed a change. I needed to get out of my comfort zone. I've been in the kitchen for 24 years at the time. I felt that I needed to do something that will take me out of comfort zone, a kind of career change, but without stepping away from the industry that I love the most.
Yeah.
I can't I can't go from real estate, from being a chef to I can. Everybody can change and reinvent in themselves, but I love my industry. I love my job, and I need to be in this industry, and that's what happened. So the opportunity came. As at Waldorf, right? Beautiful hotel that the Waldorf Astoria and the IFC that I opened as an executive chef. The opportunity came as the FM director moved on, and I proposed to the GM, would you consider me for this position? And he looked at me and he was like, really? I said, yeah. I think I would like to give it a shot. And if I fail, you know what? I tried. I can go back and fry eggs for breakfast. It's no problem. But at least I haven't left that door unopened. You're gonna know what's behind the door only by opening it. And he was very supportive. He literally, bless him, is now a friend. He was my former boss, but he's now a friend and a mentor to me, Victor, who literally took me by hand and walked me through the transition.
What a legend.
Oh my God, man. What a man. What a man. And again, from these people, you learn how to pass it on, right? From these guys, you learn what to pass on. And yeah, so he literally walked me through the path of the transition. At the beginning, it was a bit hard. I'm not gonna lie. First of all, the chef jacket is a lot more comfortable than wearing a suit and a tie.
I was going to say.
the chef shoes are a lot more comfortable, the what you wear. But
also people see you in a different light, Luigi, number one. Number two, you have to deal with complaints. You have to deal with corporate office. You have to deal with finance. You have to deal with the owners of the building. How did you find all these challenges?
So you're right. It's super challenging, and it is a shock to the system because, first of all, you going from, being in charge of, let's say, 50 people to 120 overnight. You know what I mean? The moment you step out of the kitchen and put a suit on, and now you are F&B and culinary, right? So you now have a very large number of people to look after, first and foremost, to nurture and train and learn. And then, like you said, there is the aspect of the business. There is the business aspect of having to deliver, right? Because let's be honest, I think for us, hard physical it is as a chef. But, when you are in an organization where you are the chef and then there is the F&B or the general manager in a restaurant or somebody else who does the maths for you.
Exactly.
It's easy because all you need to worry about is your food cost and your wastage and then unleash your creativity, right? But now, you have spreadsheet to look at, numbers to understand, to learn. And that was what I wanted the most. Say, I can cook, I can manage a kitchen. But what does it take to actually manage the whole thing? And the whole beast.
Profit and loss sheets, which probably has about 300 different lines, different numbers that you also have to study.
Yeah. And James, for those who are listening and I hope that there is a lot of young listeners listening to us. My advice to you guys is just don't be shy to ask any question. The moment you have a doubt, when you don't know something, knowledge is power. And only by knowing something, you learn. So if talking about spreadsheet, going from managing,
order sheets
to now put together a P&L and a forecast. I knocked doors. I knocked the finance manager. I sat next to him and I say, can you please explain me this? Can you please explain me that? How does this formula work? How do you do this formula? How do you do the sum of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, all these questions, I've asked all these questions. I sat in P&Ls. And again, Victor, the GM, and now my mentor, he also told me a lot about it, on how to handle
also how to do presentations, because you have those business revenue meetings, which are also not easy, because you as the F&B director have to defend the numbers, you have to present the numbers, and then you need to give a forecast, which is basically like predicting the future.
So look, it's very straightforward. The tone of voice change, the language change, your verbiage change. You are now, you become a different person, or a different operator.
Yes,
you are the same person, but you become a different operator. You grow. That's it, guys. It's the growth. Is the personal career growth that, look at yourself, right? If I look at you, would you think that you were a host of a podcast 10 years ago? You probably wouldn't. But as we change and we grow and we keep on reinventing ourselves, it's the key. And would I look back? Would I go back to? I don't think so. There is only one way, and the way is forward.
Absolutely.
And I'm so happy that I did that transition. It hasn't been easy, but again, he opened the world to me.
Because I want to ask you now, from doing the changeover, from being that sort of executive chef, culinary director's role, what have been your most or the biggest lessons within corporate life?
So within a corporate life and moving from operation to a corporate, I think again is you need to change your way of interacting, right? Your behavior has to change, because you can't be the social butterfly that goes from that comes to work in the morning and goes in the kitchen, give high five to all the chefs, and goes in the finance office and has a chat with the finance guy, or goes to security and wind them up. And
Yeah.
you understand? Because that's me. That's me. I go to each and every department to say hi and
Yes.
to greet them, even if I'm busy with my. But it's important for me to recognize, the guy in the laundry that is ironing my shirt that day. It's important for me to spend a couple of minutes to say, how is family? How's things back home? You know what I mean?
Yes.
You can't do that in a corporate office. You can't.
You tried.
Yeah, you can't. I think it's a lot more serious, right? People, they are in their desk, they are in their zone, and yeah. I think I'm not ready yet.
Okay.
I think I'm not ready yet, if I'm honest with you. I think I would like to get back into operation, right? I still have the energy as well to be on the ground. I think I need to take a step back and reorganize myself, and eventually maybe there will be something at corporate level again.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
But look, the other thing is, you've been in the industry for some time.
27 years now.
27 years, amazing. So the other
People
challenges-
retire.
People retire for that. True. But you know what? The thing is, us hospitality professionals, we never retire.
Exactly.
What would you say at the moment, whether it's within the UAE or globally, what do you see as the biggest challenges?
Very good question. I think the biggest challenge is to be looked at microeconomics of our business. Okay, I think the supply chain and logistic it is a challenge now, because the prices are increasing. So when I look at, again, from a business point of view, when I look at my P&L sheet, my margins are shrinking because the cost of goods is going up, the labor is going up, and the running cost of each business has increased. But I cannot really pass this on to the consumer. You can't, because otherwise you lose consumers.
It's very tricky though, Luigi.
It is very tricky. So you need to take certain decision to whether be happy with lesser margins at the bottom, or manage in a different way, right? So drive the business in a different way, and be very creative on the way you do that. I think that's one of the challenges that we're experiencing at the moment, because even as a consumer, you feel it.
You feel it, yeah.
You feel it. I can't afford to, or more, I wish, but I can't afford to go out every week for a beautiful 3-course meal and a beautiful bottle of wine. I can't afford that anymore, right? There are people that can, but I think the polished mid-market, I would say, right now is feeling the crunch, and this is the mass, really. So I think that's one of the challenges. How do we still cater to these consumers, right, without just focusing on the smaller slice of the cake?
Right, I'm with you.
Right. So I think that's one of the challenges now. I still think that although Dubai as and UAE in general has done phenomenally well when it comes to the talent pool, I think it has increased a lot. I still think that the right talent here is still a challenge. The people with the right knowledge in our industry is still a challenge.
So then let me ask you, what are your predictions for the future of the F&B industry in this region?
I think it can only get better. Absolutely. I mean, the fact that finally we have Michelin, it's been a long time coming, right? I've been here for 12 years now. And for the first 8 to 10 years, all like, oh dear, Michelin is coming. When the Middle East is ready, So I think the fact that the Michelin is now here, it shows that, you have the right ingredients coming in. You have, the talent pool has increased, is better. It's still better. And is becoming more and more and more and more of a true food restaurant hub, right? And that can only get better, James. It can only get better. This country, and that's what I love about the UAE, is, if you see the evolution of how it evolves, and it's constantly on the uptrend. It just doesn't stop.
And I think the one thing that I also wanted to highlight to you, Luigi, is something you keep saying throughout our conversation, and I couldn't agree more, is that there are people like yourself who are mentoring the future of tomorrow, the future superstars. Yes. And what I like about what we do here in the UAE is that we don't hide our knowledge. We pass it on, and we do mentor those those people who are really hungry for knowledge. So I think that's also something fantastic.
And that's what I think we need to embrace, that as a moral duty. Our generation must embrace that and pass it on. Everything, even talking, and I keep on talking, when I was in Gordon, this is how we used to do this, or when I was in the Galvins or at the Wolseley, this is how it was served, our afternoon tea was served in this particular way, and it's not necessarily about teaching people how to hold a knife. It's also about how to be the future mentor.
Right.
I think is important. This is very important.
Very true.
Yeah.
It's very true. So now, Luigi, we've come to the quick fire questions.
Go on.
First things first. What's your favorite ingredient?
Wow. My favorite ingredient. It has to be egg.
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 Because.
Come on. Egg is a mother of an ingredient. How many things you can do with an egg? And it's pretty much in everything you do.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
It's not about multiple ways of cooking an eggs. It's how important the importance. If I look at pasta, can I make pasta without egg? No. Can you bake a beautiful it's everywhere.
You know what, Luigi, that's the first ever time we've had that answer on the show. I love it. That's true. Next one, cheddar cheese or parmesan?
Next question. Parmesan.
Well, of course.
Vacche rosse, aged parmesan vacche rosse. Ooh.
Risotto or fish and chips?
Wow. I'd go fish and chips, Yeah.
Pickled or spicy?
Pickled.
Right now, as in right this second,
yes.
For you, what are your top 3 cuisines that you love to eat?
Asian, as I would classify the old, I think Vietnamese, Thai, and nice. Japan, that sorts of Asian as well.
Yeah.
Japanese, right? So that sorts of cuisines. And for me, I love Mediterranean cuisine, and that's my way of cooking as well. It comes through my cookings. I love everything the Med touch. So in my cooking, you would have a pasta dish with a Spanish ingredient, or you would have something from France with the North African ingredients or way of cooking, or something Greek and Italian. This is me.
Yeah, but there's around 28 different countries around the Mediterranean, so it is amazing. There's so many things.
There's no one cuisine.
Exactly.
You can't. Yeah.
Love it. Who would you say are your top 3 culinary heroes? And they don't necessarily need to be chefs.
Wow. What a question. I think I go back to the people who made me who I am, right? Really. So I think Colin Leifel, is a hero because he's the first one to really introduce me truly and fully to French cuisine, So he's one of these guys. Roberto, the chef that I told you, he's been 30 years in London. What a guy. What a guy. For sure. And then I would say there is a guy, his name is Uber, right? And he's been working with me for the last 12 years. He was a commis when I arrived. I took him in my kitchen as a commis. He's now my head chef, is now a head chef. He's been with me hands on hands for the last 12 years. This is the guy, James, that you only look in the eyes and he knows what you want. You know what I mean? In the kitchen. And we don't need to talk about we do it this way or we that. No. He's the kind of guy who just he sees my face and he knows what needs to change in that dish. He's a hero. From a commis all the way to head chef. And he's, he had to deal with me for the past 12 years.
Poor guy. But that's what I mean, Luigi, is about the mentorship.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing. And that's also a credit to you, know? So now, 27 years, full-on experience around the world. What's your funniest ever kitchen incident or restaurant incident that you've either seen or been involved in?
I've seen so many.
I'm sure.
But I'm going to tell you the one that I think is funny and it changed my life forever. Okay? 15 years old. I am 1,000 kilometers away from home. This is the summer jobs.
Right, okay.
Okay? 15 years old. My very first job experience. Okay? I turn up with the uniform from school, like, as a kid. The chef, we are in this hotel, beautiful 5-star hotel up in the mountains, Cortina d'Ampezzo, where normally you would go skiing.
Right.
But during the summer is also, people enjoy the mountains as a summer holiday as well. It's not just about going to the beach, right? So anyway, I'm there. You will say, what the hell? How did you end up there? But that's a story for another time. The chef goes like, right, tonight on the menu, there is ham and melon, prosciutto e melone. So beautiful San Daniele ham, beautiful cantaloupe melon. Right, okay. And he goes to me like, you are going to be in charge of this dish. So whenever I shout, it's a set menus, in the old school hotel. So whenever I shout, ham and melon, you bring it to the pass.
Easy.
Did he show me how to do it? No. So he just told me, you are in charge of doing ham and melon. Thanks. How? Right? So this guy doesn't show me how to do. Okay. He asked me to prepare the San Daniele on the slicer. So put it on the slicer. Okay. So I'm a 15 years old kid. I don't know what I'm doing.
And you don't know what a meat slicer is.
I don't know what the meat slicer is, but I don't know how to prepare a San Daniele, right? Take the ham leg, unwrap it completely, take the first layer of fat off, or cut, in a way so that when it goes on the slicer, the slice is nice, straight and sharp. I have no idea.
Oh my God. Okay.
So I kind of okay. Well, the ham, the melon. Okay, you slice in wedges. You figure that out. But the ham, like, Samash, one San Daniele, one ham, one ham and melon. It's okay. I start to slice, man. I start to slice the ham as is, with all the fat, with all the skin around.
Oh,
It's disaster on a plate, right? Me all proud, take this dish. I go to the chef. Chef, is this okay? He looks at me. He looks at me. He looks at the plate. He looks at me. He looks at the plate. He takes the plate. He takes the ham out of the plate, and he just slapped it on my face.
Oh. But he didn't show you.
Right on my face. I think it's funny. I think it's wrong. It's very wrong. But I think it's funny.
Oh my.
But James, you know what happened that moment? And that's why I want to tell this. I had my fist closed. I had one hand on the apron, and one hand I had my fist closed, ready to have a go at the guy. This
Whoa.
is a 45 years old man. I'm a 15 years old kid. This guy just slapped, basically slapped with ham, with a slice of ham. I'm ready. The fraction of a second. You do this, you take your apron off, you can't be a chef. This is what being a chef is. Sometimes you need to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
You know?
True.
And I goes to him, why, chef? Do you think this is right? And he goes, and I go to him, but you haven't showed me. And you know what he said? Did you ask? God damn it. So,
Fair
always ask the question.
Fair
So
enough.
the guy was like, let me see how long it's going to take him before he realized that he needs to come to me and say, chef, can you show me?
Fair enough. What an amazing lesson. You almost need to say thank you to him, right?
Right.
What advice would you give for any...
And sorry, another quick one.
Go, no.
Funny.
Tell me.
I think it's funny, right? it was in London at Galvin Bistro when I was the head chef there. So we used to get this beautiful gooseneck duck
Yes.
delivered to us, and it would come very early morning, like 5 a.m. in the morning.
It's a beautiful duck as well. One of the best.
It cooks, it's juicy, and the fat renders perfectly. The skin comes out. You remember those ducks, right? Can't remember. Do you remember the guy by any chance? The name of the...
I can't.
He used to call twice a week in the kitchen. Anyway, so the ducks would come very early, and we would take in turn on the specific day to go in the kitchen at 5 a.m. in the morning to be there for when the duck arrives, right? So I had one of the sous chefs in charge that day say, mate, you do it tomorrow. It's your turn. The guy arrives late, right? So he calls me at around 5:30. He wakes me up at 5:30. Chef, we have a problem. What? They nicked our duck?
No.
Yeah. The ducks haven't arrived. The ducks are not here. The duck have been nicked because, the driver hasn't found the guy there, the chef there. He had the putty outside the door. I'm talking about 5-6 boxes with about 20 ducks per box. You remember those ducks, right?
Man.
I'm talking about a pile of 10 boxes,
God.
120, 200, 150 ducks gone. And the guy calls me like, chef, the ducks have flown away, something like that. The ducks have gone. I was like, what do you mean? Yeah, the ducks have gone. What do you mean the ducks have gone, man? What are you talking about? And I say, they've been stolen. They stole our ducks.
man.
And it's true. We went there, we looked at the CCTV, and they literally been nicked. Someone
Who
drove
takes
past. He saw 10
120
boxes.
kilos of duck, man.
What are you gonna do with it? On like that? A random guy stops his car, put it in the car, and drives away.
I mean, that's mental.
They nicked our ducks.
Wow. Unbelievable. Right.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to any young up-and-coming chef or front of house who have just started out in their career?
This job, this career, this industry is for those who love it, right? So I repeat what I said at the very beginning. You can't be in this industry for the sake of paying the bills at the end of the month. You gotta love it. You've got to follow that passion. Just close your eyes and go with it. It will take you to wherever your objectives are. It will take you to whatever goal you set for yourself. It will take you there. You gotta be patient. You gotta learn. You gotta give everything you have to get where you want to be. But it will take you. It will give you lots of beautiful memories in life. 100%.
And if you could, what advice would you give to 16-year-old Luigi Vespero?
Ask how to do the ham, man. What advice I would give to myself? Don't stop your education. Go to uni after. Go to uni after. I regret it not going to uni. And I tell you why. Because, when I apply for jobs now, for example, right? And I don't have a degree. And the degree is one of the criteria.
Yeah.
Then automatically I might be fantastic for that job. I might be the right guy for that role. But because my application doesn't have all of the criteria, perhaps even on the CV, I don't get given the chance. Why? Because I don't have that piece of paper first.
Right.
But also the things that I would have learned at uni, that I have then learned later on when I moved perhaps from the kitchen to the front of house management, right? These are all, this is knowledge that I potentially could have acquired 20 years ago.
True. So, Luigi, for anybody who wanted to get hold of you through social media, how can they do that?
So, LinkedIn, Google my name. I would say, but actually Google my name. You'll find me on LinkedIn as Luigi Vespero, but also on Instagram as Mr. LV 2.0. Or you just find me on, as Luigi Vespero as well. It comes up. Yeah.
I'll put all of that in the show notes for everybody to
have. And be in touch. Ask me question. I'm here. I'm here.
So I just wanted to recap, Luigi, our conversation, because it's been absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
From your childhood growing up, your grandfather, then being, not getting into college to then getting in, which is amazing. 5-year education, which is, I think, is incredible. For you to then take your first job, to then flying all the way to England without any English, which again, I'm astounded as to your tenacity to really get everything done. Then, of course, your journey to Guildford, Birmingham, back home, and then working for Gordon, working for the Wolseley, the Galvin brothers, then coming here, the airport. Thank you very much, Dubai Airport, for doing such an amazing job of keeping you here. And then, winning so many culinary accolades, to then going into the front of house, continuously challenging yourself to then become the true food and beverage hospitality professional that you are. I just wanted to say, on behalf of the ChefJKP podcast, thank you so much for coming onto the show. Thank you for inspiring people. Thank you for mentoring the future stars of tomorrow. It's been absolutely amazing. I cannot wait to see what the future holds for you.
Thank you, my friend. Pleasure was all mine. And it was very good to catch up and walk together down memory lane, right?
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.